What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at a brand new little monster coming out of circuit break called Nimble Beaver that I think is pretty nifty, and actually I like this card a lot. I know a lot of people have said recently that Cap G, every card with you is either broken or trash, and this is a prime example of how to make a card perfectly in between. This is a just good, solid card with a bunch of utility and a whole lot of application. So Nimble Beaver is a level 2, it is water attribute, it's beast type, 400 attack, 100 defense, so it's not, a world beater or anything like that, but it is a level 2 monster, so who really cares? You're using it mainly for its utility. It says when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 3 or lower nimble monster from your deck or your graveyard. So to me, this is like the just perfect balance of a card. This card has so much utility, but none of its utility is like over amazing where it's like it does something insanely broken. Obviously, the fact that it can get another copy of itself, and if you're not familiar with the Nimble archetype, this started all the way back in like Magic Rule. I remember playing Nimble manga as a teenager. The card was okay back in the day. Your opponent runs it over, you get a couple more copies and face down defense position, and you gain 1,000 life. This is an okay card set up for tribute summon, so you can get all of these with Nimble Beaver. Obviously, you can get another copy of itself, and it is an instant rank 2, which I mean, that's not like that powerful. People would probably say, oh, Cap, it's a 1-card Xyz, too broken, but you have to think the Xyz pool for rank 2 is really bare. I actually just looked it up before making this video, and I will say this: had this card been an aqua type and it been a 1-card totally awesome, yeah, this shit would have been this shit might have been OP. But for the most part, if you're going the Xyz route, the best you're going to get are things like that Gusto Emerald or maybe Sky Cavalry, cards that are used for niche situations. So I don't think any of those are too OP. I like the fact that it can get a card back from the graveyard, which means this is essentially a mini Tour Guide and a mini Wolfbark in one card. So that's really good, because if you get it in the early game, obviously it's good because you don't have to have a graveyard. But if you get it in the late game and you don't have that many monsters in your deck, it's still good because you can use your graveyard as a resource. I actually think that it's not a coincidence that Nimble Beaver is coming out in the same set as Master Boy, because those two cards have crazy synergy together. Obviously, you can summon your Nimble Beaver, you can get any of these other water monsters, or just get another copy of Beaver. You can link summon into Master Boy. Hopefully he can do a little bit of work on the field, and then when Master Boy dies, you just get your Nimble Beaver back from the graveyard, normal summon it next turn, and just rinse, wash, and repeat the process. So this is, to me, the perfect example of how Konami can support something that's very old but kind of make it really good. I mean, who's going to argue that this card is bad? It's basically a mini Wolfbark and a mini Tour Guide in one card. It's good in early game, it's good in late game. Yeah, the stats are terrible, but it's a level 2 monster. They're not supposed to have good stats anyway. So I could actually see you possibly trying to play maybe a Nimble deck if you want to play some some low tier Yu-Gi-Oh, or I could possibly see you maybe even splashing this into something like Frogs or Paleozoics, because think about it, right? I mean, how hard would it how hard would it be just to splash 3 copies of Nimble Beaver, I can't pronounce things, Nimble Beaver into a deck like Paleozoic Frogs, where obviously if this card is kind of just dead in your hand and you don't want to use your normal summon on it, okay, well, you can pitch it to Swap Frog, or if you draw 2 of them, pitch 1 for Swap Frog and then normal summon Beaver, get the second one from your graveyard, or you can use it as your normal summon instead of Swap Frog, and you can instantly start out with either a rank 2 that's not totally awesome, which is what you probably want, or you can kind of go straight into Master Boy and it can get itself back from the graveyard and whatnot. So this card definitely has a little bit of utility, and again, I think that this could be splashed into like water decks like Paleozoics that already run level 2 waters as well. So you guys let me know what you think. Also, doesn't this go straight into the Paleozoic Xyz monster? Not the one that requires 3, but the one that requires 2 monsters. Unless it is, I'd have to look it up. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I think it's Opobenia. Unless that monster requires like 2 Paleozoic cards, which I don't think it does, you'd be able to instantly go into that, and obviously that'd be a nice little boost for the deck. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I think this is the perfect example of great card design. Whatever you guys believe, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.